Oh boy, everyone's doing a Doom First Impressions review. And you know what they say, if everyone else is jumping off a cliff like lemmings, you should jump off too and die with them because you're stupid. No, I was gifted this game after saying that I wasn't going to play it because the multiplayer beta was freaking awful in my personal opinion. The multiplayer mode of the game is akin to a Call of Duty, Halo, Counter-Strike amalgamation that barely resembles Doom except wearing its skin. It was not entertaining to me. That said, when you take those elements and you apply them to killing hordes of countless demons, suddenly it becomes very entertaining, and let me explain. So I played the first 5 levels on both Ultra Violence and Nightmare. I really enjoyed this game. Do you notice this line right here? Rip and tear. That is the motto of Brutal Doom, is rip and tear.
Until it is done.
And they stick true to that spirit here. Yes, you will be ripping and tearing the crap out of things. You remember in Doom the way you just started the game? There wasn't any exposition or anything like that. If you wanted story, you had to read the manual. Well, in this, you start here, demons are going to kill your face. It immediately breaks into the action. There is no delay. You literally just grab your gun, and now you're killing demons. Just like that. And as soon as the demons are dead, then you get to see what your gun looks like. It brings you to a terminal. This is where they tell the story. They tell the story through these holographic scenes. Every once in a while, they'll talk exposition at you. You were entombed in this thing, so you are Doom Guy. It's no more complicated than that. You go in, you grab your suit. It gives you a little cutscene about what you're going to be fighting. Yes, you're going to be fighting the Lords of Hell. Demonic invasion in progress. How freaking hilarious is that? But seriously. So this is your guide, is the somewhat evil Dr. Samuel, as far as we've been able to tell. It is pretty damn awesome because the Doom Guy just throws the terminal to the side like, screw you. And that is mirrored in pretty much everything Doom Guy does, is just screw you. Now, other than that, there's some pretty basic stuff here. You can headshot enemies for extra damage. You can do these combo moves, and whenever you do a combo move, or a glory kill as it's called, you receive health power-ups from them. They spawn health. So if you want to keep your health up, especially on the higher difficulties, you want to rip and tear, just like Doom. If you don't like to see the rip and tear over and over and over and over, well, maybe this isn't the game for you, or you want to play on an easier difficulty where you can just shoot the enemies. But typically, the rip and tear mechanic allows you to continually regenerate your health and makes it very effective for you. Now, unlike Doom 3, which I refuse to believe existed, you don't have a series of hallways. Instead, you have a series of gauntlets. This can be explained right here. Whenever you enter a room with a hell portal, you're going to have a lot of enemies to kill. When you're at low health and you do a kill move, you will receive a lot of health. In other words, allowing you to recover from your weakened state. And at higher health, you receive 5 health. Now, when you've cleared one of these rooms, it is safe to grab the heart of the hell portal, at which point all hell breaks loose and you are now in a gauntlet situation. These gauntlet situations are pretty awesome, actually. You got imps to kill. There are exploding barrels that you can use to, cheat your way through it, pretty much. If you want to just shoot behind the imp, now he's dazed. Well, apparently he's dead, but if he was dazed, you'd just be able to do a kill move. Like, literally these punches. People flash blue and then yellow whenever they are dazed, so you just shoot someone until you see the way he flashes blue. Just like the multiplayer, moving around is pretty damn efficient. And you really aren't going to have to worry about running slow. You aren't Doom fast, but at the same time, you're definitely faster than any modern first-person shooter. where you move like a slug and they expect you to use a sprint key with a stamina bar. None of that. Just like there's no reloading on your guns. You fire from the hip. Instead of doing an iron sight, your alt fire does some amazing, amazing stuff depending on what mods you have installed. And the idea is when you get a gun, there are 2 mods that you can select from. That said, you can switch between mods for your weapons on the fly during combat. So it's like having both, except you have to wait a couple seconds to switch between the 2. And I'm just going to blow up these barrels because I can. And I blew myself up because I'm a genius! So this is the same weapon, the shotgun, except it has 2 mods. If you hit the R button to reload, instead, you change the mod on it. One mod allows it to do a spread fire. The other mod allows it to shoot a kind of rocket. This is still on Nightmare difficulty, and I'm about to encounter one of the more powerful demons known as a Hell Knight. First, the monsters appear right here, and then the Hell Knight jumps in. Now you'll notice in levels, there'll be some areas like this where you can jump down into seemingly obscure areas. In a place like this, you'll find a bobblehead or another power-up. Power-ups can usually be found on the 3-dimensional map. It's kind of like Daggerfall's map, except the levels aren't so complex to where you can't tell where you're going. Obviously, and just like Daggerfall, you're able to put the map into 2-dimensional mode or 3-dimensional mode, depending on how you feel like it. You can hold the right mouse button and zoom around. You can see how I did, in fact, find a bobblehead in this location earlier. Also on the map are challenges. These are objectives that you can complete in order to earn weapon upgrade points. Also, exploring and finding secret areas can earn you weapon upgrade points. Finding elite guards. These are dead human corpses. And when you find one, you can pull out a Praetor token. You have a legendary artifact known as the Praetor suit. And the Praetor suit uses those Praetor tokens as upgrades to upgrade either your resistances, your loot finding abilities, equipment like grenades and ammo and stuff, power-up effectiveness, berserk haste, stuff like that, and dexterity, which is the switching of weapons. Like every other game, it has an in-game codex that'll tell you all about the in-game world and all the various unlockable entries that you can grab. The codex entries are another form of collectible for the game. If you like the lore of the game, you're going to actually find out lore about the demons, such as the Hell Knights, where you find out that they were basically defeated and thrown into a gladiatorial arena, and now they're Hell's Gladiators. Each mod for weapons can be upgraded with the weapon upgrade tokens to improve the mod's capabilities. Once you've purchased all 3, it will unlock a mastery slot. This mastery has to be completed in a special way. So for example, kill 30 people with direct hits would unlock the cluster strike ability. The sense of progression here feels great. If you're a fan of the original Doom's super fast movement, then this game might be slightly disappointing to you. It is only extremely fast, not super fast. I am joking, of course. I personally was extremely satisfied with this game's movement, both in the single and multiplayer. Once you clear a gauntlet, it will open up the next area. They use elevator sequences and closed rooms as a way to throw exposition at you, but they're done fairly well. And you always get the sense that the story is moving forward in some way, whilst you continue to go and rampage and kill demons. There are only, I'd say, 2 or 3 areas within the 5 hours that I played where I actually felt like I was stalled. And that was mostly because I was backtracking to find more treasure items. Which, if Doom is about anything, it is about finding secrets. Let me show you an example of how they teach, right off the bat, to new players that you don't have falling damage. Bam! They taught you don't have falling damage. Now, in order to progress the level, they teach you that you must wall climb. The way this works is they put nothing interesting over here. This is all junk. And so your eyes are naturally gravitated toward this direction by the textured ground and by the glow sticks here. So you run up to it and hit spacebar and you've climbed. Now you can skip these little storyline segments, but you can just press E to pick up those PDAs and they go and they're like a paragraph long. They just tell you a brief history about things. Now you can usually spot the demons in the distance, unlike that game that didn't exist, and it's Corridor Simulator. You can almost always spot enemies coming, or you have some kind of audio cue indicating that demons are approaching. Now, whenever you jump into said area, you'll almost immediately encounter new enemies that you didn't see before, because spawning is something that happens dynamically during combat. But the game does reward headshots, it rewards good aim, but it also rewards you just running in and beating the piss out of people. Now, hit and run cover tactics do work in this game as well, because it is a shooter and the enemies are going to be shooting fireballs and things like that at you. But ultimately, it rewards all the styles pretty much equally, with the exception of sniper, which you're going to find yourself running low on ammo. Ammo itself, other than the pistol, is limited. You're going to have to switch between weapons pretty frequently on the higher difficulties. Now, in the lower difficulties, I can't tell you because I did not play them very much. Now, if you're literally just watching this for the first time, the kill moves are going to seem samey. They're going to seem kind of boring. And that's because you really can't get a feel for this game just watching it. The anticipation you feel when you know a Hell Knight is going to leap down and kick your ass for the second time, whilst an imp is actually shooting fireballs at you, pretty amazing. If you play on either the medium or easy difficulties, you're probably not going to feel the same thing that I'm talking about. But people are saying, oh, it's so bad that this isn't a survival horror game anymore. Keep in mind that Doom was at its worst when it was a survival horror game with dark corridors. Doom was essentially at its best when you had enemy after enemy, waves and waves of demons that you were killing. That was the whole point of Doom. And this has really gone back to its roots in that sense. And I just recommend it to everybody. That's pretty much it. So, there we go. Doom, multiplayer, pass on it. If multiplayer is a must-have, wait for people to actually set up their own snap maps, their own snap map campaigns, whatever. Things that you can enjoy, because you know what? The actual multiplayer experience is lackluster. But if you're looking for a great single-player campaign where you're just killing demons mindlessly, it's just fun. It is literally the answer all the Doom 1 and Doom 2 fans. If you're looking for an in-depth story, you're going to find a series of guideposts, but not an actual in-depth story. The lore is very obscure, and for the most part just serves to explain what is here, not to create a narrative. And whilst the narrative does exist, again, it only exists to serve the gameplay. Now, scattered around every level, usually near secondary objectives, like the blue key card here, you're going to find a secret. If you go up to the top here, jump on this ledge, this is basically a bobblehead. This is Doom's version of bobbleheads, but they unlock various things in the menu. As you can see, it unlocks a model that can be viewed in the collectibles. The blue, yellow, and red keys still perform their function just like the first couple Dooms. As I mentioned earlier, scattered around the levels are these dead elite guards. They have Praetor suit tokens that when you get will upgrade your suit. Typically, maps have anywhere from 1 to 4 Praetor suit tokens. You're going to see these drones periodically flying around. These drones serve to upgrade your weapon. You will be able to purchase one of 2 upgrades. For your weapon, note that you can actually get both upgrades and switch between them. In every level, you're going to see a door like this. It's sealed. What you have to do is you have to go and find a nearby switch. Once you pull the switch, it will play a classic Doom sound. Behind the door, you will find a classic Doom area. These classic Doom areas are usually considered secrets by way of the game, and as a result will often grant you a weapon upgrade token in addition to whatever you find. These classic areas, when found after you beat the level where they are found in, you will gain access to the entire classic Doom level, either being the Ultimate Doom or Doom 2. The classic items such as the armor actually do function within the game, and the health power-ups do as well, although they are sprite form. The monsters, however, will be done in the new Doom style. Now, on the main menu, you're going to find a list of the collectibles that you found thus far. You're going to find a list of the classic maps that you've unlocked. Here's an example of one of the classic maps I unlocked. This is E1M1, Knee Deep in the Dead. It's done in the new Doom style, as you can see. The enemies are the new soldier types, not the possessed. But that's okay, because the soldiers we encountered before shot, and the possessed do not. If anything, I would say that the original Doom's games are still far harder than this, and that if you play carelessly, you are simply put not going to have a good time in the older Dooms. Whereas in this one, as long as you aren't playing on the top 2 tiers of difficulty, you can mindlessly shoot your way to victory. My only criticism about these classic Doom areas is that you can't adjust the difficulty at all. It seems to be stuck on a medium difficulty at all times. Noting that this final room would have an imp in it if you were playing on the highest difficulty, and it does not. So all in all, do I recommend buying Doom? Well, if you're a fan of Doom 1 and 2, absolutely. If you're a fan of Brutal Doom, absolutely. The game practically goes by the motto, rip and tear, and that's exactly what this brings. If you are looking for an in-depth storyline, forget it. If you're looking for that ridiculous dark hallway shooter that was Doom 3, get the hell out. But if you're looking for just a fun, kill-em-all experience, this is the game to get. This has been Xerax Hakaran. Please check the social media links above for more content, and I will see y'all next time.